Welcome to Puzzled and Chatty with me, Adam Gray, where I talk with people in the jigsaw and speed puzzling world and hear their stories and thoughts on this growing competitive activity and the puzzle community. In this episode, I sit down with a rising Canadian speed puzzler and becoming well known for her approach to starting a puzzle, Caitlin Albert, the Sorter. We discuss her entry into puzzling and speed puzzling, her unique approach to puzzles, which includes fully sorting pieces and starting with the most challenging sections, her competition experience, and Caitlin provides some advice on how to do a full sort yourself. So pull up a chair and pick a puzzle off the shelf to do while you listen to two people who are puzzled and chatty. Hello, we're here with another Canadian puzzler, Caitlin. Welcome, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited. It's great getting different types of puzzlers on here, and there's a few things that I know we're going to talk about today that I'm quite curious about when it comes to you and your style of puzzling, particularly. For those who aren't familiar with Caitlin, you will be by the end of this. So we will go straight into it. And same thing as I start with everybody else, how did you get into just general puzzling? Not necessarily speed puzzling, but just general puzzling.
General puzzling, when I was a young kid, when I'd go visit my grandma, she'd have kids' puzzles and I'd do them in 2 seconds and I would tell her that they were way too easy and I'd start building them like upside down, like cardboard face up so that there would be no image because they were just way too small and easy. And my mom would have all of like my aunts and stuff surrounding me, watching me build them upside down and being like, oh my God, this is so crazy. And eventually, obviously, they transformed into larger, bigger puzzles that were harder. But I had never really heard of speed puzzling until about 3 weeks before Nationals 2024, I'd say. And that's because my friend was trading puzzles with someone and they told her about the CJPA site. And so she told me about it and I went on it and seen there was a competition. And I'm like, oh my God, I could do this for real, like a speed puzzle against people. So I convinced her to come with me and that's how it all started.
It's a story that kind of is similar across a lot of puzzlers. It seems that there's always a grandparents that's involved with it. Rarely does it seem to be the parents. It's specifically the grandparents. So would you say it's your grandmother that like influenced you the most to get into puzzles?
I don't even know if anyone really like influenced me into doing it. I think I've always had an interest in like memory games and doing things like that. And she just always had a closet full of games and puzzles. And I always was drawn towards the puzzles. And then from there on, obviously my parents started buying me all kinds of stuff like roll mats and stuff and to continue my addiction. So, but I guess it's the memory that I have from the beginning would be from my grandma's house.
And so you jumped into that. You only started considering speed puzzling just a few weeks before a Canadian national competition. That's what you said?
Correct.
So I'm assuming that the national competition was your first competition.
It was my first one, and I had a lot of anxiety going into it because I had no clue what to expect. But it was my first competition, and I had like, about zero preparation going into it because I didn't even know what the heck a speed puzzle would be. So it was going into it blindly. I did try a couple speed puzzles before going, but I didn't really know like what to expect. So I just kind of took out puzzle and made it as fast as I could. But I owned like zero 500-piece puzzles at this point in my time. So I'm going off of like a Ziploc bag puzzle that looks like it could be about 500 pieces that I'm just trying to build as fast as I can before going to nationals. So that was that.
Yeah, I was about the same with for my first nationals. It was more than a few weeks when I signed up, but I was the same. I didn't really have a lot of 500s. I was mostly a thousand piece type of person, and yeah, I had to start buying a bunch of 500s, and I bought almost no Ravensburgers, and that wasn't much help, I guess. Definitely didn't help me prepare. But yeah, when I've had others on this channel to do these puzzle casts, I do a lot of like the background information about people first, but I'm going to do something slightly different when it comes to the order I do it for you because I think you have an approach to puzzling that others can one can learn from and is quite unique. And it's your sorting approach. This is going to come up a lot in this chat, but can you kind of describe your approach to speed puzzling when you first open the box? What's kind of the thing you do first?
Yeah, so when I grab a puzzle box, I often personally don't even look at the box while I'm building the puzzle. I look at it for about 3 seconds before I start the puzzle to see if I can pinpoint anything that is similar, that I can have a kind of a starting patch to be like, okay, I'm gonna make piles of this. And then from there, I open the box, flip all the pieces out of the box, and I have this drying pile sitting in front of me, and I take the first thing that I could see the most of, whether it's a sky or grass or a pink tree, anything that's has a lot of pieces that I can visibly see, and I grab as many of them as I can and I throw them in a pile. And then I move on to the next thing I see the most of. So if I see a lot of grass now, I'll take as much grass as I can, throw it in a pile. So now I'm working on two piles. And while I'm grabbing all the grass, if I see any more of that first pile I started, I add them in. So now I'm playing a memory game also because it's really important for me to memorize what order I place these piles in. So I'm not taking extra time to like, where does this one go? And I essentially just build as many piles as I can that will now be just little tiny things around my board. And I usually try to make them in like a rainbow. So that way I still have a whole square to build in. And sometimes it's a little trickier. Like if you get a puzzle that, for example, this,
Okay,
something
yep.
like this. This is going to
Yeah.
be really hard to do my full sort in because there's not really much of anything that you can go off of other than making like a little bit of like a little green pile or a little blue pile. So you eventually wonder if you're making a mistake doing the full sort sometimes on a puzzle like that. Mainly because once you start, you kind of have to commit to it because you're wasting a lot of time and
Yeah.
you'll see everyone beside you is like already finished building their edges and you're still making little piles. But um I make the game decision as I start it. So when I look at the puzzle I just showed you, I see there's green, there's blue, there's purple. I can see that there's this whole line here that goes across. There's gonna be lots of pieces with that line in it. There's gonna be a wooden line that's down here. And I just basically will take as many piles as I can. And then if I'm really stuck at the end and there's nowhere it can go, I might throw a little miscellaneous pile, but my miscellaneous pile has maybe 20 pieces in it by the time I'm done. And sometimes I don't have a miscellaneous pile. So it really depends.
And do you do all of this, as you said, without actually looking and studying the box? It's just kind of more instinctual?
Correct. I am just looking at the actual pieces sitting in front of me. And in fact, too, like even if I have, let's say there's a sky and there's trees on the side of it, so you're gonna have some pieces that are sky and tree. Instead of deciding which pile to put it in, I make a pile of that specific thing, tree/sky. So then I know that when I'm building that sky, those are going to attach to it. Or if I build the tree first, I know it's going to attach to the tree. So I'll have that also. But if it's like 99% sky or 99% tree, they'll go into those piles. So it's not 100% accurate every time. But you're also then working on this small little grouping of pieces. So they build so much faster than when you have 500 pieces rolled out in front of you and then you're looking for 10 sun pieces. I find it a lot harder to find those 10 sun pieces throughout all 500 pieces than when I had just grabbed them
Yeah.
right out of the box from the beginning.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about this a fair bit throughout this chat, but um, some people might not be familiar with without seeing it. It's kind of it might be hard to understand, especially for those that are new to speed puzzling. You do post these. videos, your attempts on your social media on your Instagram page, right?
I do, yes.
So if people are interested in actually seeing this, because I'm not going to show the videos on here, but if they're actually interested in seeing it, what is your Instagram page?
My Instagram is CAITSPUZZLES_.
Great. And then yeah, so I do watch pretty much every video that's on there because I'm trying to understand the full sort and attempt the full sort, and it's difficult for me. Hopefully by the end of this, I can have a bit more of an understanding. But you brought something up that is my biggest concern when it comes to the full sort is that it takes a lot of time. So there will be people that, as you said, will have flipped all the pieces over. Because sometimes you do the full sort without actually flipping all the pieces over, which is even more um, amazing to me. Usually, I think it's a puzzle if you've done it once already. You don't actually flip everything.
I actually rarely ever flip everything first. So
Yeah,
the only time I actually flip the pieces first is if I'm in a pair, unless I'm with my pair Shelly. Because I taught my friend Shelly the full sort because I wanted to do it that way, and that's who I puzzled with. And so I taught her how to do it, so she does it with me. But if I'm puzzling with anyone else, um, I usually they're used to flipping the pieces, or if I'm in a team, they flip the pieces because they want to start working on the puzzle.
yeah,
So then I have to try to do the full sort from flip pieces, but I find it easier to find them when they're just sitting in a pile in front of me versus flipping them all first, which probably seems a little crazy, but there's always going to be at least 50 pieces visible to my eye without flipping them, no
yeah,
matter because you can just go phew, phew, and they're all then there's more visible, right? And as I grab them, a couple more flip up, so there's usually always pieces visible to my eye. And at this point, when you get to the less amount of pieces, well, you've got all your piles memorized at that point. So it's just you're not even looking at what you're doing anymore. You're just like, oh, my sky is there, my grass is there, my this is there,
yeah,
that there. And the first attempt is the hardest one to do the full sort on. And I say this because you've never done the image before, so you actually have no idea what the actual puzzle piece is going to have on it before you see it. So when you look at a puzzle, one of the ones behind you, for example, you might see a whole row of sky or a whole pink tree, but when you actually see those puzzle pieces, it might actually be pink tree with yellow on it. And you're like, oh shoot, that's not what I thought it was going to look like. So
yeah,
after you do it the first time, it does get a lot easier. So if you're going to practice it and you've never done it before, it might be beneficial to try the puzzle first without the sort, and then you know what you're looking for. But I've just done it so many times now that I'm just used to doing it
yeah,
right out of the box before I've even done the puzzle before. But sometimes you don't know what it is. We did that cow one together, and there was times where I
yeah,
said this is either going to be horns or part of a trunk, and they're in the same
yeah.
pile because I've never built this puzzle, so I don't actually know. Whereas the second time doing it, I would know, and then I would probably have a trunk and a horn pile, right? So they get a
Okay,
little
yeah.
more particular the second time around.
So because especially on the first attempts, and if we're looking at competitions, like with the Canadian Nationals last year and probably next year, all the puzzles were brand new. They
Yeah.
weren't. There was no way that you could do them for a first time in advance, like for the qualifier rounds, especially. You can't do anything in advance. So when you go into a competition, and you still take the same approach most of the time, how do you stay focused doing this full swords, knowing that others, by the time that you're done, have finished 100 to 200 pieces already, and you're just finishing the sword?
I think the motivation behind it is that I've seen myself beat people who are sitting beside me who were way ahead of me.
Yeah,
And I thought, I am so screwed. When I was building my Nationals 2025 finals puzzle, I was finished my full sort, and beside me, every single person in the row is already working on the middle of their puzzle, and I'm still here sitting flipping my last piece into my pile. And I thought, oh my God, this is a hard puzzle. I'm so behind, and I want to cry. And I don't have my individual table thanks to you. But
Yeah,
anyways,
we'll get to
that's a whole other thing.
that.
I look beside me and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm so behind. There's no way I'm finishing this. I'm going to do so bad. And then all of a sudden, I have these tiny little piles that I'm working on, and everything just goes together so fast because you're not working on this whole mountain. And suddenly I look beside me and I think, oh God, I still have the whole puzzle up, and everyone is just on this pink tree. But I've already done 90% of my pink tree because I somehow stupidly started with it.
Yeah.
And then I just zoom through the rest of the puzzle and everyone's still working on the pink tree and I'm done. And so I have that satisfaction of knowing that just because I took 10 minutes at the start to get this done, it's actually more effective for me for the next 30 minutes of me building the puzzle because I have everything where I need it and when I want it, it's there. And if I don't like the pile, I can slide it over and just grab a new one. And it's so easy. They're all flipped upwards at this point. They're just in a little pile. So you just have to do a little quick spread and then they're all facing up anyways. So realistically, I feel like everyone technically has to do this sort at some point. They're just doing it as they're working on it. And I just get it out of the way at the beginning because it's the longest and worst part. And
Yeah, I
I,
think that's a good way to look at it is that, yeah, we're all sorting at some point. It's just you're doing it in a different order. Now, there's a lot of pieces. When you're starting off with 500 pieces, yeah, there's a lot to sort through, and it will take longer. But you're essentially doing a full sort and an extreme micro sort at the same time. So you just have a lot of different piles. Yeah, so we did a puzzle together last week for the first time, and I looked over as I was doing the edge and looked up, and yeah, there must have been what 15 small piles
yeah.
of pieces ready to go once I was done with the edge. And yeah, it was just do a little bit at a time, as you said. If something wasn't working, um, I think in that I took the pile with like blue flowers or something to start with first, and realized really quickly that wasn't going to work. Uh, but there's another pile ready to go, which I wasn't used to, but it was nice to have that. So especially like in a partner, I can see how it would really benefit if you have you as the sorter while someone else is putting the early stages together. It can really come together. Um, yeah, as we go through this, I'm gonna just kind of show a few puzzles and talk about a few puzzles, and I'd love to hear your opinion on kind of how you would approach a sort, or if you wouldn't. If there's a scenario where it's like, yeah, that's probably not a sorting puzzle, but we'll get to those. What's also interesting with your approach to puzzling or your goals when it comes to puzzling is you spend 10 to 15 minutes doing this full sorts, 15 in the extreme case, but usually what around 10 minutes
Yeah,
or so.
9 minutes is always my goal, and I
Okay.
try not to go over 11, but sometimes the puzzle is so dumb and you started it and you've committed to it and
Yeah.
you're like, well, I'm screwed now, and you waste 15 minutes. But that is, like you said, in rare cases.
Okay. But you also your goal, especially in the past few months, I would say, is to get as many puzzles under 30 minutes as possible. Not necessarily on first attempts, but with repeated attempts. And the more you do it, yes, the sort's going to become easier. Just like if I repeat a puzzle over and over again, I don't need to necessarily do as many sorts because I can just kind of I know where this piece goes just because I've done this puzzle so many times. I know the general area. So you're doing this sort that takes 9, 10 minutes, leaving yourself just 20 minutes to put all 500 pieces together. Are you surprised, or were you surprised that you were able to do all that puzzling in 20 minutes essentially?
Yeah, it sometimes makes me rethink my whole puzzle life because I'm like, oh my God, if I didn't do the full sort, would I have been able to do this in 25 minutes or less instead of 30? But then I try them with the flip and it takes me 35 minutes and it's like so it takes me longer when I don't have my piles. I don't know if it's just because I'm so used to it now that without them
Yeah.
I'm lost. But even when I work as a team, I'm like, this is so much harder to find your guys' pieces when they're all flipped already and they're just like scattered throughout the whole table. I'm now looking for a pile to make for you and I don't have them. They're not in front of me, right? So I
Yeah.
do, the first time I got my sub 30, I was mind blown that I could actually do it with the full sort. And once I got my first one, I knew that if I can commit to a puzzle and move fast enough and build it fast enough that they can be done in under 30 minutes, even with 10 minutes spent on a sword. The sword also may become a tiny bit faster when I've done the puzzle 5, 6 times. So it might take me only 9 minutes at that point, but still, I'm finishing a puzzle roughly in 20 minutes because of my piles. And
Yeah.
I don't know that I can do it without the full sort. Maybe I can. Maybe I haven't
So,
practiced it enough, but
so yeah, I was gonna ask. I just looked up your My Speed Puzzling information on there, and I think I counted 13 sub 30 puzzles at the moment. About 13, maybe I missed one. And you're
yeah,
saying
about
not,
13.
and so every single one of those are full sorted.
Yes.
Wow, I'm looking at some of them and it's just, I have no idea. I think I have one puzzle, maybe two. I think it's just one puzzle that's a sub 30, uh, which is what, like, I've attempted a couple times, the full sort. I think maybe just because I haven't dedicated as much time to it, it's definitely not paying off for me yet, but it's hard to argue with the results. If you have, yeah, 13 puzzles under 30 minutes using your approach, it clearly it's clearly working. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna keep coming back to this a few times to see how it benefits or hinders when it comes to like competitions,
Hmm.
uh, because that's at the end when for me specifically, and other people that might be watching this, the competitions for speed, that's what I care about the most. It's the how do I perform on the day. I can do a bunch of practice and I can get times to certain things, but I know when it comes to sitting down at nationals or worlds or a virtual competition, everything changes, and it's making sure I have as many strategies ready to go. So, as you said, you went into your first national competition with only 3 weeks' notice. Essentially, that was in 2024. Why did you decide to enter nationals? Yeah, why did you decide to go, especially with just a few weeks preparation?
Honestly, I spent my whole life people telling me that I'm fast at making puzzles. And, anyone who knows puzzlers who aren't fast, you're gonna think they just think you're fast because they're slow.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like my mom telling me, "Oh my God, you're so good at puzzles." Okay, cool. Like, you're just not that fast at them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I
yep,
don't actually think I'm that good. And so, but I've been told my whole life that I am. So when I found out that I can compete for something that I love doing, it's like, okay, well, how can I not try? And I had Googled it before, but I think it was more during like COVID and stuff when I had a million hours of free time to see if it's something that you can do competitively, and I never found anything. And so I just thought it wasn't a thing, and I found out it was. So I was like, you know what? It's nationals. Like, who cares? I'll just try, and then I know what I'm getting myself into, and I can see if this is something that I'm actually good at, or if it's just people telling me I'm good when I'm not.
yeah.
Right? So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, when I entered my first nationals, it was the same thing. It's you're told by a bunch of people that, oh yeah, you're really fast, but as you said, is are they just really slow? And by comparison, so yeah, in my first nationals, I approached it as if there's everybody here is here to speed puzzle and go fast, and I've never been in a room with that many people that wanted to do it, and it was going to be a really quick judge of if I'm actually somewhat fast at this. And there's the qualifying round, and my mindset was very much if I don't make out the qualifying round, I'm not actually that fast of a individual, and this was fun. I won't be back.
That
And
was mine
then
too.
yeah, so yeah, I obviously make it. I made it through the qualification that year, made it to the finals, and did okay. And that kind of launched everything that came after. What was your goal then heading into your first nationals, especially for the individual competition?
For individual, my goal was first to finish the puzzle on time because I did not want to go to piece count at all.
Yeah,
But I just really, really, really want to make it to the finals. And I figured if I make it to the finals, I will feel like I'm justified for doing this and that I'm not like just crazy for like doing this for real. And when I did as well as I did, I thought, oh, okay. So I'm not as bad as I think I am, but I also, um, I'm not as fast as I want to be, but that, like, I'm still pretty new at this, so I'm still working on it. But I did far better than I ever expected to, and I guess that's why I'm still
yes.
here right now.
So yeah, I think when it comes to most speed puzzlers, none of us are as fast as we want to be. We're always trying to get faster, unless you win an entire a national competition or a world competition. You're never as fast as you want, and even then, you want to get faster. But yeah, you do finish in 11th place in the qualifiers, and I believe you had Paris postcard as your puzzle,
Yeah.
which had you done? I don't think you have because you didn't see have it done that. You hadn't done that one before, have you?
No, I hadn't done any of the puzzles from nationals before. So it
Which
wasn't the first
is
attempt. And this was also my before I started doing my full sort. But
okay.
doing that puzzle on a small table is kind of what made me want to start sorting because it would give me so much more room to puzzle. Um, so it kind of influenced me a bit.
Yeah, so I don't own the Paris postcard one, but I do own the New York postcard and the London one. This is one of Paris postcard now on your My Speed Puzzling is sub 30, and so is New York postcard as well. Looking at this, is this one of the easier ones to do a full sort?
Yes, it is. It's very easy to do a full sort with. This was actually my first sub 30 that you're holding up right there, and I got it on camera, which was kind of fun because I had never really recorded much before. And that was my first one, and it was during one of our our bring your own puzzle speed
Yeah.
runs, and so that was super fun. That one is very easy to full sort. There's so much to go off of. You've got I have it actually right in front of me also, but you have the green polka dots. That's a
Yeah.
whole section that you can make. You have this flower. That's an easy section. These flowers on the side. That's a very easy section. This whole person here is an easy section, and it actually looks a lot different than
This
the black
person.
building here.
Statue of Liberty. Just this
Yeah, yeah,
person.
the person. It's okay. It's a person, right? The green stripies, that's another section. Giant purple globby, another section. Now, these pinky oranges are going to end up in the same section, but then you're going to have light pink and then green. Then you have tie-dye green. That's what I call it. You have
Yep.
your stamp, your little black thingy here, whatever that's called. Your orange polka dots, and your bird, little birdie. So these are, and this giant green patch here, that sticks out a lot when you're looking at your
Yeah.
pieces. And even this building is going to be a lot different than this building because this one's got green behind it, where this one does not. So you can even have two different piles of buildings. So then you got your pink polka dots and your cursively writing here
Yeah.
and the cursive writing here, which is completely different than this cursive writing. So those are pretty much all the piles that I would have for this puzzle, and you can get them all pretty easily.
Yeah. So you probably had close to 20 puzzles that you just 20 piles that you just mentioned. And I think what's important is that some of those piles would only be like 3 to 5 pieces in some
Yeah.
cases. So it's not like they're massive piles of 20 to 30 pieces each. Some of them are much, much smaller. And when I look at it like that, then I can see how you can get through it quite quickly because, okay, I'm at a pile with 10 pieces. I can put 10 pieces together in a minute or less, easy.
Yeah.
So, especially if they're all nicely sorted and ready to go. So, yeah, I can see how you're going to make up quite a bit of time when it comes to that. Now, would you do the edge as you go? So you're not even like the edge is in its own pile, correct?
No, they're not in their own piles. The only time I make them in their own pile is when I'm working as a pair, because my pair always likes to have the edge built. Shelly does, you did, Allison did. When I work with Amanda, she likes to have the edge done. Megan likes the edge done. So all the people I've ever worked with as a pair do like edge first. I personally hate edge first. It just takes up so much unnecessary space for nothing. Um, in fact, the
Well,
only edge first that I, yeah, you disagree, I know. But the only edge first that I've done first probably recently is the cherry blossoms from that, whatever one that is, the one that was used with the Washington thing,
Oh, that one, the American
the cherry
Nationals.
blossoms.
Yeah,
That one I did
yeah,
edge first because when I watch back, I have a really bad habit of doing the hardest part first.
yep.
And
We'll talk about
so
that.
when I watched back that video of everyone doing this puzzle, everyone was stuck on these stupid cherry blossoms for ages. So I get them out of the way right away and then I can just zoom through the rest of the pile, is what I was thinking in my head. But I definitely, when I am sorting my piles, the edges are always in the pile that belongs with the pile I'm building. So if there's a sky and there's edge pieces, they go in there. Um, and if there's grass, they go in there. If there's a tree, they go in there. And then the edge gets built when I build that pile, is how
Yeah,
I.
it's just so many little piles and such going on there. It's you also need to keep track of it, which I would think would be not easy as well. But to go back to nationals, you finished in 11th with the Paris postcard, which is a puzzle a lot of people had done. I wasn't in that round at nationals. I was in the round before that, and for the qualifiers. But I stayed to see what puzzle the second qualifier would get. And when I saw Paris postcards, I was like, oh, that's so much easier than the round I was in, which we'll talk about in a sec. And there was a lot of people that were really happy because it's a puzzle that's been done by a lot of people. The postcard puzzles are quite popular. So, and I know for a fact quite a few people in that round had already done that puzzle. So, you finishing in 11th and sailing through to the finals must have felt pretty good,
I
I would
felt
think.
fantastic.
So when you go into actually before we do the final, so the other puzzle from that qualifier round, so the one before that was two of a kind. Um, this is also a sub 30 that you have on my speed puzzling. I have done this puzzle a bunch of times. Same with New York postcard and Paris postcard, none of which are my I have under 30 minutes. I even did New York postcard today before this chat, just to see. Still no, and I've probably done that puzzle 20 to 30 times at this point, and I still can't do it. When it comes to the two of a kind puzzle, though, it, there's so much going on in this. But going through like your full sort, I'm
Yeah.
assuming you have the red car would be something, the green car over here would be something. You'd have the house, the sky, the trees, the water down here, the pathway, uh, the grass,
So the
all in
grass
the
are
house.
also two different. So there's two different grass piles because they are different colors.
So this grass pile and this grass pile,
Two different piles, yeah.
along with this grassy hill over
Correct. That
here,
one's going
would
to
be
be a
its own
blurry grass
pile.
pile, and then you got like a bit darker green for grass pile, and then you have like a more yellowy green grass pile, and then the sky as well. I had two different sky parts where the castle is
Yep.
lighter than the other part of the sky where the clouds are. So I had two different sky, and I had two different tree piles also.
Yeah, there's there's so much going on when I see that. And like even the boat itself is going to be into at least two piles. Like
It
there's
is in two
just
piles because there's the one with
yeah,
all the like writing stuff on it, and then the side with not the writing, but there's like little like almost looks like a train in the boat. I can't explain it,
like the
but there's
green
like
roof thing.
yeah, there's like two different things in there as
Yeah.
well. So that was also two different piles. You're correct.
Yeah, so yeah, it's on my list to try as a full sort, but I think I have it under 40, which is usually my goal is under 40s. I'm good with that. But if I want to get better, I need to do more sub 30s because I think what's also good about the sub 30 is once you know you can do it consistently, you know how fast your hands have to have to go, you know what your timing needs to be like. You need to have this much done by the 10-minute mark and then by the 20-minute mark. And if you don't, it's hard to make up that time to be under 30. So until I can do it consistently, I think I just have the Disney Pixar palette one, which is one of the easiest puzzles. So at least I have that one. That's sub 30. But yeah, you make it into the finals.
Overall,
Overall,
you
you
finish
finish
in
in
14th.
14th that year in 2024, which is very good for your first ever nationals. Um, are you pretty much locked into speed puzzling now
Yeah,
because
I
of that?
became obsessed, and all I wanted to do was buy as many 500-piece puzzles as I could and do a million of them. And now I own way too many of them, and I probably should stop buying them, but I can't help it because I'm
Yep.
obsessed. And I love it so much. I also like the handshakes. I can't. That first competition that I did, I didn't even know that you could sweat or get hands that are shaky as can be making a puzzle, first of all. But no, hearing people finishing and knowing like, oh my God, I actually have a
Yeah.
chance of making it. It's like, what the heck's happening? I literally could barely put a piece together. My hands were so shaky. But I'm obsessed. I can't ever stop now.
Yeah, especially when you get to those last like 10 to 20 pieces, and in some cases you haven't heard anyone's name yet, and you're this could be me. But even if you've only heard two, three, five names, and you're just like, this is still really good. I'm the same. My hands will start to shake, even though I've done a lot of competitions at this point. I still get to the point when I'm getting close to the end, and I know I'm in a good position where yeah, those hands start shaking, and those pieces never go in correctly on the first attempt.
Yeah.
At that point, they always are backwards every single time. I don't understand how that's possible. Um, but yeah, that for me, that doesn't it doesn't go away unless I know I've not had a great round, and then it's just out of frustration. I just want to finish it, and there's no shaking. It's just all right. Let's this one's done. We'll
Agreed.
put this one off to the
I'm
side.
with you on that. You know, I almost cost myself second place in my only second place virtual puzzle because of my shaky hands.
Yeah, it's
I
close.
I can't even. I had one person had finished and I had about 8 pieces left to do and there's still only one finisher. This should take me 10 seconds. This thing took me 2 minutes to put 8 pieces together because I was trembling like a leaf falling off of a tree. And this poor girl finished less than a second behind me. I felt so bad after I rewatched it like 7 times. I felt so bad because she had like probably 20 pieces left and caught up to me because of my shaky hands and literally lost by a second. And I had so much guilt from it because I was like, I had no business winning because I had 8 pieces that I could not put together for the life of me. But I should have had it done minutes before and I almost lost my second place, but it was still nice to
It
win.
Yeah, it happens. It happens all the time. At nationals, you also do your pairs event with your partner, who you already mentioned, your puzzling partner at the time, Shelly. Um, you finish in fifth place in the was there a qualifier? Yes,
Yeah,
there was a
it
qualifier.
was circle puzzle, which we had never practiced a circle puzzle before. Well, because
Yeah,
again, we barely had time to leading up to nationals to practice anything. But I also didn't own any circle puzzles at the time. So when we seen that circle puzzle, we were like, this isn't gonna go well. And the opposite happened, but I think that might be the fact that everyone had the same reaction as us.
Which circle one was it?
Um,
Don't
I
have it
think,
written down.
the astrology, no, no, hang on. I think there was a red crab in it.
Oh, the ocean one.
Uh,
Seashells or something?
mm, one sec.
I, I think it's called seashells.
Having a mind blank on what it was called.
I know which one you're talking about. I've done it before, but I just can't think of what the name is. But yeah, it has like the different seashells, the red crab, the seahorses and stuff. Is it that one?
Think so.
Which
Um,
isn't
oh yeah, you're
super
right. You're
easy.
right. It is. It did, yeah, it does have the seashells.
Yes, seashells. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's not an easy one. The other round was astrology, uh, which is I prefer that one. But like when you look at a puzzle like seashells, does your full sort work in that case? Even though you're with a partner, with Shelly, which you said is
It
fine.
kind of not really. You're not gonna have you're not gonna have the amount of piles that I have in like the two of a kind or postcards or anything
Yeah,
like that, but you can definitely have a pink pile, a red pile. You can definitely pull out the crab. The crab would stick out a lot. There's the blue water on the bottom, but again, she does edges, so I would have to pull the edges out for her, so there would be edges out. If I was doing it myself, I would have a water pile. And then there's a couple piles, like there's orange, yellow, and then there's gonna be piles that are red, orange, yellow, pink, like things like that. So you're
yeah,
not gonna have as many like idealistic piles, but you can have a decent amount of color sorting done. So it can still smooth by a little quicker than not having any piles. But it's
that
not gonna
makes
be
sense.
as like micro sorted.
Yeah, which makes sense, and I think most people take um, the circle puzzles, especially the ones with the gradients. They take them in a similar approach where they'll separate the uh, different colors. I tend not to. I still pull like if I want to work on green, I'll just pull the greens and then do the greens. Then I'll do blues and pull all the blues. I've tried it sometimes with some of the ones with the gradient and try to make the piles beforehand. It's just getting over the mental block of this is going to take me so much longer. I just want to get start putting the
Yeah.
puzzle together, which I think is that's where my current barrier is. If I can get over that and still have good success, then I might change. But you do make it uh, into the finals. The fifth place is really good, especially for a circle puzzle that you've never done before and first nationals. But then the final has 1,000 piece, and it's we are one of the only national competitions that has 1,000 piece puzzle yet. The origami, um, that one. Do you full sort 1,000 piece puzzle?
I actually personally, yes, I do. I
Really?
do. As a pair, you can get this full sort done in under 10 minutes with a pair. I think I have it down to between 8 to 9 minutes as a pair. So if I can convince the person that I'm doing it with to do it with me, we can have it done in 8 to 10 minutes. Now this puzzle is super fun to sort, just so you know. And this is like my type of puzzle. And we had never practiced speed puzzling 1,000 piece, but the only
Yeah,
reason that um out of all of the people that I know in my life that I could pick to go to a competition with, she is my puzzle friend, right?
okay,
Well, she's more than just my puzzle friend. She's my best friend, but you know what I'm saying. She's
yeah,
my she's the one that if we're bored and we say, "Hey, you want to make a puzzle together?" That's who I make a puzzle with, right? So that's obviously who I'm going to ask to go into a competition with me, whether we're fast together or not. That's still who I'm going to call. So we had never done 1,000 piece speed run, but we have done several 1,000 piece together for fun. So I was not sure how it was going to go, but then we opened the bag and it's literally my dream puzzle sitting in the bag. And I think that helped.
Yeah, it's just it's so busy. I'm just trying to picture how I would possibly do a full sort on that. I think it would take me way too long. I think I would try to over sort it, and I would just have 1,001 piece piles. Like that would just, and
No,
I'm just
this is
back where I
so
started.
easy to sort. Look at this. Like you can have a whole pile of this black thing, and then it takes you two
All right.
seconds to build it. There's this little pot that looks like some like I don't even know what the heck that is, but that thing is very easy to sort. This thing's really easy to sort. Like you got the whole book. You can have the red pieces and then the blue pieces, and then there's these little weird animal things that are like stripy inside of it. That's its own pile that goes in the book, but it's like three book piles in one.
Yep.
And the zebra, you got the money man, the paper behind the money man, the this red book with the little flowers.
Yeah.
And that book is different than this like book. I don't think they're books. I think they're like paper to make scrapbooking or something, but you know what I'm saying. The ruler, this book on the back, that's very obvious too. This green tree, this potted plant,
There's just so many
this
things going. Like
scissors.
I love a busy puzzle. Like the individual nationals puzzle from that year was this final puzzle, which is very busy, with the exception of the blue disc in the bottom. And I
I
love
love
that
that
type of
puzzle.
puzzle.
I
I
like
like
having
having
those
those
little
little
pulling
pulling
small
small projects.
projects. It's
It's
just
just
sorting
sorting
them
them
all
all
at
at
the
the
start
start is not my thing at the moment. Yeah, you still finish, what was it, 17th overall, with your pair, and it's going to be challenging if you've not practiced the speed 1000. It is a busy puzzle as well, but even then, top 20 is still quite the result. Um, yeah, did you enjoy the first nationals at least?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, but it also made me want to join teams because for next year, because we, I
Yeah,
honestly didn't know what to expect, and I honestly didn't even think we were going to make it to the finals for pairs at first either, because, like I said, we never really practiced before, and on like a speed level, I like she's not as fast, so I wasn't sure how the it would go in an actual competition, but together we did like quite well considering. And then it made me want to do teams because then when we made it to the finals, that means we had to drive up to Georgetown for one event. And
yeah.
his teams is on that day as well, and then just Paris finals. So we literally drove there to do one puzzle, and it kind of made me want to do the next round also.
Hmm.
So it actually influenced me to do the teams round for the following year. So I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, which is great. Over the in between the two national competitions, because you do sign up for 2025 as well. You do a few virtual competitions, couple top 10, few top 10 finishes, a second place finish in there as well, which is all excellent. Do you enjoy the virtual competitions?
I do enjoy them. I just don't find I get the same adrenaline that I get from
Yeah,
in person. I think it's because I don't have time to glance up at the laptop and try to see how people are doing because you can barely see these little squares and where the progress is. It's a lot harder to glance out your competition, so you don't really know how well you're doing. Whereas
yeah,
I know I probably shouldn't look up as often as I do in competitions, but knowing that I can just look beside me and be like, oh wow, I'm doing really well, or oh shoot, I'm doing really bad, gives you that extra push that you might need that you don't get in the virtuals. So I find I lose a bit of the adrenaline factor on it. But I still love them. I think it's still nice to be able to compete to other people doing the same puzzle to kind of see how you rank. I just sometimes I feel like I might do a little bit better um, at the in-person ones, but there's not enough of them for
yeah.
me to know if I do better at them or not, right?
So I'm gonna share a secret on here that I haven't mentioned to anyone else when it comes to the virtual and how to kind of, because I know what you mean. In person, I always glance at the people like beside me. It can give me information to see, oh, that seems to be a better approach. I'm going to do that instead. It lets me kind of measure how fast I'm going, whether I'm ahead or behind. But as you said, with virtual, it's very difficult. With the online competitions, and I do this with the Canadian Association, Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association events. I do it with the Bring Your Own Puzzle events with the Canadian Speed Puzzlers organization. With Zoom, you can highlight an individual and have their screen larger and on. Um, it just highlights that one particular person, and it's only for you. No one else knows who you're picking or who you're selecting. So I'll pick someone I know is probably a bit faster than me, or sometimes similar, but have them highlighted. So if I do glance up, I only see that one big screen. So I can use that person as kind of a measuring stick to see, okay, so I'm doing slightly better than them, or I'm behind, but what did they do? And it has helped really push my virtual results over the past few months, because now that I have that comparison, it makes it much easier. And it makes it feel more like you're in a competition with that one specific person, not the 80 people that are on tiny screens, but that one person. We're going head to head on it, and it's paid off. I got second place on the weekend. I had a third place recently, a first place before that. So it has picked up. So it might be something you can try as well.
Yeah, that's good advice. I like that.
Yeah, it's anything to kind of keep that, because I'm the same. I don't have the same adrenaline when I'm sitting in the room. I just do practice puzzles in. It's just the atmospheres not quite the same
Yeah.
at all, and you don't hear people finishing quite the same. And yeah, there's no judges walking around or huddling around the table that's getting close. But I know what you mean. Yeah, you do. I'm going to skip all the way to the Nationals 2025 because there's a lot to get through with that. You've been speed puzzling for over a year now, competitively. Uh, you're obviously back because you like speed puzzling. What are when it comes to the individual rounds? What are your knowing you made the finals last year? You finished, what I say, 14th.
hmm
You finished 14th. What are your expectations going into 2025 for the
Well,
individuals?
there is new thing that was brought out where if you finish top eight, you get your own table. I
Yep.
really, 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 really want my own table. I
If you're
am
full sorting, I would assume yes. A full
yeah.
sort and a full table would be ideal.
Yes, 100%. I was really aiming for it. That was my number one goal. So I will say top 10 for the qualifying round was realistically what I wanted, but I really, really, really wanted top eight. That was what I was pushing for. I also found out that I was going to be sitting in the front row thanks to your Instagram page. I was just chopped off enough for me to see my name, and I was like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me right now?" There's assigned seating, and I'm at the front, so I had that pressure on me. And then just the fact that I really wanted my own table, which I did not get because I made silly mistakes. But that's okay. And then for finals, assuming I would make it if I reached the goals that I was aiming for. I honestly was hoping to either finish same or better as last year, mainly because there was going to be double the amount of people in the round. So if I finish same or better, then I technically have improved from last year, even if
Yep.
I don't see an improvement in the placement. Because I would have had to beat out a lot more people. So I would have still felt content about that. So that's the goals that I set myself. And I reached
Yeah,
one of them.
and I think that's an important note that you said. It's if you finished in the same overall position, you've beaten more people. And the Canadian Nationals, it's been running for 3 years. It's growing every single year. Next year it'll be even bigger when they move to the larger location. Um, so maintaining a top five spot or a top 10 or a top 20 spot becomes a lot more challenging once you start including a lot more people. So I think that's um, a good note for people that might be concerned about their rankings or their positioning from competition to competition. The number of people makes a difference. So yeah, you mentioned that you're at table four, front row, which you found out, yeah, from my Instagram account. Sorry, I found out it was at table two, so that was even worse. So that was we're all suffering together. It's fine. Um, yeah, so you want to finish in the top eight.
Uh-huh.
You unfortunately finish in ninth spot. I finish in eighth
Yeah.
spot. 34 seconds was the difference. Which, depending on who you're talking to, could be a little bit of time, could be a long period of time. It really depends on how you're going to look at it. You said you made an error. Um, so the puzzle was this one here,
Yes.
Moray, Joffrey Lakes, and yeah, Joffrey Lakes. I'm looking at it now behind me. When it comes to a full sort, you don't have tons of options for this one, as many as you would for some, like when we get to this one here.
Yeah.
This one, you don't have tons of options. If you have the trees, which
Yeah.
are essentially all the same, so you can't really split them up. You have the sky and the reflection of the sky, which are very similar, but
You
there's a bit
can't
of a
pull them if
difference.
you look hard enough. They're just hard to differentiate. You're probably gonna have about
Yeah,
five pieces still in the top sky,
yeah.
that are way too close, but the rest you could technically they're a little blurrier so that you can pull most of them.
Because after I did the edge for mine, I pulled the sky and the reflection, and once they were all jumbled up together, you could start to tell the difference, but the reflection in the bottom isn't right up against the edge, so it's hard just to build something random in the middle of a puzzle. Then you also have like the blue water. There's a green line that goes through. There's slightly different colors over here. There's the other murky reflection stuff, but you really only have what, seven, eight piles at most, I would
Yeah.
think, for this.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I think I had 10 piles.
Okay. If you really are because you look at it much more intensely when you're doing your
Yeah.
piles. I haven't at this moment, but I realized that my mistake at the start was trying to do the sky and the reflection until I looked at the person beside me and I saw that they did the line across the middle and the water, and I was like, that seems much easier, and I switched over. So having someone beside me definitely helped. If I stuck with the sky, I'm not finishing in eighth. But you also made a mistake,
Hmm.
which was what?
So I mentioned that I don't look at the box, and I
Yes,
mentioned that I don't do edges first. Some
yes,
days, ever since this moment, I've considered switching my tactics and doing edges first and looking at the box, but I still haven't managed to do that. But what happened was is that I started with that line, go straight down, right? But I built it upside down. So then I built the entire water upwards instead of downwards. So now I've got the whole green line and the whole water done pretty quickly. It went together very well. And then I moved on to the bottom. So not the reflection part, that dark patch that you talked about that doesn't quite meet the reflection. I did that
yeah,
part. And then I did the sky. And then what happened is that then I went to go attach it together because now I have like the little bit of I have the mountain left and then that little bit of darky color on the sides here left. And I go
yeah.
to attach it together and it doesn't attach, right? Because I have the whole thing built upside down in the middle. So now I somehow have to maneuver on this small table. Um, the whole middle of my puzzle has to be flipped and I have the whole top built and the whole bottom built. And I have to do a full rotation of something. So I ended up having to move the bottom of the puzzle to the top, and I had to move the top to the bottom, and then I had to flip the whole puzzle. And that, because I always have to build the puzzle upside down.
Yeah, why not just build the puzzle upside down?
Because I had the mountains left, and I was worried that that would be harder upside down than upside right.
They were tough anyways. I don't think that would have
Wouldn't
made
have mattered. Either way,
much of because
it
you're
was.
going by shape at that point. It's just
Yeah. The amount of time I wasted reconfiguring this puzzle, 100% cost me that spot. And maybe it
yeah,
didn't take 34 seconds. Maybe my brain thinks it took like 2 minutes because I'm panicking because I just realized I built the whole middle of my puzzle upside down. Like, I can't actually say that I would have beat you if I would have built it the right way. I can't say that for sure because I didn't do it the right way. But what I do know is that mistake definitely cost me a lot of time that could have granted me eighth place, and it
Yeah.
didn't because
It,
of it. So,
it also takes away momentum, and
yeah.
you have to kind of reorganize your. So overall, yeah, it might have been the 34 seconds that you might have needed. But like I said, I made a mistake too by trying to do the sky and reflection for. I think everyone makes mistakes at some point in it. It's just learning from that. I'm gonna guess that you look at the box slightly more now,
I look at the box
at least once.
at the start, at least, and I'll glance up maybe for placement for something if I'm not 100% sure before I move on to something else. But I I still really, 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 really lack at looking at the box. And sometimes I wonder if I'd be a bit faster if I just took those 10 seconds to be like, okay, yeah, this goes here, instead of just going off of my memory from the beginning of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So I did tell myself that I would try to look at it a little bit more after that. But you can, you even said you don't think I looked at the box one time when we made that puzzle together.
No, I don't.
So
I
I
don't think
don't feel
so.
like I do it. I take a glance at the beginning, but I still don't feel like I'm doing it ever, to be honest.
It's a different approach. But it seems to be working. Like you're not coming in like last or anything.
No.
You're still finishing these puzzles quite quickly. And I think a lot of people like you're now into your I guess you're into your second year now of speed puzzling. And from my experience talking with people, this is like when a lot of people start to see like their bigger jumps in terms of depending on how seriously you're taking it with the practicing and everything else. This is when you start to see those bigger jumps because those small details, like, am I looking at the box enough? It doesn't need to be staring at the box, but are you looking at it just enough to give yourself a little bit of information while you're puzzling? Small things like that. But you do make it to the finals, even though in came in ninth, which is still very good in the
Yeah.
qualifying round. Slightly better than the year before. Um, it is the walk in the rain, the pink puzzle here, pink tree puzzle, and you've already mentioned that you started with the toughest part first, which you tend to do with a lot of your puzzles, and you did the um, pink tree first. You showed me the video or picture, I think it was of the people around you where they had done a whole lot of the puzzle and you'd done very, very little um, because you started with that. But then it just turns around because you had the easy bits left while they had the hard part left, and no one went through that tree quickly. So does that, even though you were quite far behind, the fact that you still picked it up and you finished quite a good spot, does it just reinforce that the full sort is the way that you're going to keep puzzling?
I think so. I also made a rookie mistake on this puzzle also. I made two mistakes at nationals. I had two pieces in my bag. Um,
Oh yeah, I've done that.
So yeah, so like it was just not both rounds something went wrong, which is fine because you can learn from mistakes that way. I'm a lot more cautious with my bag now, and
Yeah,
I am more cautious of where things go now. I still don't look at the box as much as I should, but at least I learn from that. It's like this is important. Um, but the full sort, it did kind of reassure me that I could be really far behind and still catch up because, like you said, with the sub 30s, you know you can move that fast if you need to. And I, I think my biggest thing with this one, this is like way not up my alley. And I've never done a puzzle that's like blurry image like this before.
yeah,
Looks like an artist took a paintbrush and painted it all. And this is just not something I've ever practiced before. So when I first opened this box, I think there was a lot of like, I didn't get my table that I wanted. This puzzle is not something that's going to be easy for me to do. I have a gigantic pink tree that all I want to do is get it out of the way because I'm crazy. And I don't think I'm going to finish this puzzle in time. This is everything that went into my head in that first 5 seconds of opening this box. And
yeah.
I committed to my full sort, which I don't regret. And then I grabbed the pink tree. Now, my biggest thing here is that I'm really bad at not stopping when I should. So if I start a sky that I shouldn't have started, I don't like be like, okay, you need to stop. You need to stop. I don't stop. I just keep doing it for some silly reason, and I waste a lot of time. When we did the cow one, you literally had the pieces in front of you for about 10 seconds, and you're like, this is a bad idea, and you put it aside. I do that for about 10 minutes before I'm like, this is a bad idea. So I wasted so much time doing this for about 5 minutes, staring at these pieces, being like, "There's no way I'm doing this puzzle in time." I didn't. I honestly, so for about 5 minutes, thought I'm not finishing this puzzle. And then I just one piece at a time from that pink tree was placing it, and I'm thinking I probably shouldn't be working on this right now, but I'm just gonna keep trying. And I place another piece, and then I looked over and I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. I'm like, I have so much puzzle left and everyone only has a pink tree left. I was like, I'm screwed. And I just grabbed my piles one at a time and it was just like, doo, doo, and it all just went together so fast. And then all of a sudden I look and no one's done. And I'm like, oh, I did it. Okay, it's not so bad. I don't think I should have just started with the pink tree.
No,
Mm-mm.
no. Even though you do make up a lot of the time, you do
You
finish
finished
in
14th
14th
overall
overall
for
for
the
the
second
second
year in
year
a
in a
row.
row.
So
So while you
you
didn't
didn't
increase
increase your
your
place,
place,
as
as
you
you mentioned
mentioned
before,
before.
you beat a lot more people finishing in the same position. I'm assuming you're coming back for 2026 nationals.
Yes.
Well, I know you're coming back for 2026 nationals. Is your if you finish 14th again for a third time in a row, will
Oh,
you be happy with that?
no.
Okay, I didn't think so. I just
I
wanted to make sure.
I was okay with it this year that just passed because I was working a lot. I worked many jobs, so I was working nights, I was working days, and I wasn't having many days off. And then the days off that I had, I was busy, and I barely practiced all year. Well, no, I shouldn't say I barely compared to like a normal person on a normal day. I practiced a lot, but for what I wanted, I didn't practice a lot. There was several times where there would be like 5 days in a row I couldn't make a puzzle because I had to work or something. And I feel like I just didn't put in the amount of work that I wanted to put in. Whereas this year, going into this, I don't work nights anymore and I have so much free time and I've been practicing a lot. So if I don't see improvement, I will probably be really disappointed in myself. Um, I'll still come back and I'll still keep trying harder, but I would like to see a tiny bit, even if it's just one place, I'd be happy to see that my work has paid off.
Yeah, you want to see that progression, even if it's just by a couple places. And it's also important to remember the higher you finish, there's you have to start jumping over other very fast puzzlers as well, so it gets harder to move up. Like jumping from 40th to 30th is 10 spots, which is still a challenge, but that's going to be easier jumping from like 15th to 5th. Still 10 spots, but there's a very different group of people that you need to get out of the way. Like if you just look at the top five or top six
They're
from this
elite
year, where
puzzlers.
you have um, Megan, back-to-back champion. You have Katie, who won um, Eastern or Quebec regionals. You have
Riley.
Riley, who is very good. There's always new people that show up. Shelley was the new. Um, they were in 2023, but they missed 2024. They were back in 2025, so you never know who's going to be there. Devin is always up there. She was in fifth place. Tess was in sixth place. So jumping over those people to get into those podium spots, very, very difficult to be able to do that. Like I had seventh this year. I don't see, unless I get the perfect puzzle on the perfect day, moving past seventh is going to be extremely difficult at nationals. And I expect this will be the first time in 2026. I expect my position to go down. So I've gone up every year. I don't think I'm in the top 7 this year. If I make the top 10, I'll be happy, but it gets with more people and people getting more competitive. Um,
And people that you don't know all of a sudden pop up and they're like, what the
Also
heck?
that,
Who
yeah,
the heck are you? And something I try to remind myself, I don't know if you do this, but I try to remind myself that just because I'm getting better doesn't mean the people I'm competing against aren't getting better too. You
exactly.
practice a heck of a lot. So if I'm trying to beat you, well, that means that I have to improve more than you. And that's hard because you're working as hard as I am. Everyone else is working as hard as you are, and you're trying to beat these elite puzzlers who are practicing also.
Yeah,
Unless you're Megan, who is just so fast, so good, and barely practices, and I don't know how she does it, but she's insane. But
yeah,
like if you're trying to beat these people and you're putting in the same amount of work as them, well, they're getting faster also. So you're not necessarily going to move up just because you're trying really hard, right? So I wouldn't say that I'd be highly disappointed if I didn't beat my spot, but I would just be a little disappointed.
yeah. Yeah, because we always want to improve our positioning. That's natural, I think, for speed puzzlers. It's just we'll have to wait and see what happens at 2026 with everything else that's going to go on that year. Um, in 2025, though, you do come back with the same partner, Shelly again, second year in a row. Did you have higher aspirations this time?
No, I had the same hopes that I did year one, which was finish the puzzles, make it to the finals, see how well we can do together.
Yeah,
The puzzles that were I I'm not gonna say the only puzzle that I would have probably ever bought in a store on purpose from walking through a store and be like, oh my God, I love this puzzle so much, I need it, would be the team's finals puzzle. Because all the other puzzles are not my strong suit. I love puzzles that are just like a whoomph of things thrown at you, and the team's final
okay.
one is exactly that. But landscapes aren't my forte, buildings aren't my forte. Flowers aren't my forte. Water, animals, fur, trees. None of this is up my alley. And
Yep.
that was every single puzzle at Nationals this year. So I might have set a little bit more of a goal for myself, like, oh, we did this last year, let's try to do this year. But didn't have any expectations because they were going to be all unreleased puzzles that I've never done before. So my
No
practicing
one has. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, we're literally competing against people who have never done these puzzles either. And I'm not that good at first attempts, which is something I've learned recently, is that my first attempts are not as good. So when I seen every time I'd open up a bag and see the puzzle, I was getting more discouraged because I'm like, is there going to be one that I see that I'm actually going to be good at? And every time I'd open it, it's like, nope, not this one. Nope, not this one. And it wasn't that I didn't like the images, they're just not my forte. So
Yeah.
like I just like what am I supposed to do? You're getting more discouraged every time you open a bag because you're like, oh, I'm gonna suck at this one. I'm gonna suck at this one, right? And then I open up the pears one, and it's the turtles in the water. Like, great. Here's another one of my nemesises because I suck at these types of puzzles. They're really easy to sort, but not easy for me to build. There's not like any distinctual patch that I can be like, I can
Yeah.
fly through this, right? And I think that was my biggest issue. We still made it to the finals, but then we get 100
Yeah.
buildings that are going to take me 100 years to build.
Yeah. So neither were ideal. You just get into the finals, finishing in 19th place, top 20, I think, move on
Yeah.
from it, and it was 2025. It doesn't matter. Um, just get through, but you're still through, and that's the main goal from any qualifying round because there's no if you finish first or if you
It doesn't
finish
matter. There's
20th,
no
there's
podium for
yeah,
qualifiers.
and there's no extra like you don't get more table space. There it doesn't make any difference when it comes to pairs. So if you're through, you're through. That's the first hurdle, and then yeah, so you do get to the finals. It's another 1,000 piece. Did you over the course of the year? Did you have a chance to practice 1,000 pieces again? Yeah, that's where I think my partner and I made the biggest mistake prepping for nationals is that we just did 500 pieces over and over again. We were getting to the finals. Like that was that shouldn't have been a concern for us. And then yeah, when we got to the finals, it wasn't ideal. We had done some thousands, but not enough. But yeah, we get it's the Toronto puzzle there. A lot of buildings, sky. The bottom with the water wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy puzzle overall, but um, you finish in 24th, which is a bit lower than the year before. But you do finish the puzzle.
Yeah, that when we opened the bag, that became our goal was to not go to piece count.
Yeah.
And we didn't. We finished it. We pushed through it, but it was neither one of our strong suits, unfortunately. So it was kind of one of those moments where you know you're not winning with this puzzle regardless. And there
Yeah.
are so many like top pairs out there that like when I pull this out, I know I'm not finishing top 10 with it either. I can try all I want, but there ain't no way I'm building those buildings fast enough and faster than the other teams that were or pairs that we're going against. But so I became to set myself a goal of just making sure I didn't go to piece count. And we accomplished that goal, and we still finished higher than I thought we would when I seen the puzzle we had.
Yeah. Yeah, 24th out of 40 teams is still quite good. Uh, the 40 teams in the final. Um, with nationals coming up, it's only what 8 months away or something like that. Like it's coming up quick,
Really
it feels
fast,
like.
yeah.
Are you going to practice thousand piece puzzles this time?
Well, as I mentioned a bit ago, that Megan doesn't practice that often, and that is actually my partner
Yeah,
this
it
year.
doesn't have to be not necessarily with Megan.
Yeah,
It can be just, but are you going to practice those thousand piece
I will
just speeding with
practice.
anybody, really?
Yeah, I will practice thousand piece puzzles this year, for sure. I actually, and it, like I said, it doesn't even bother me that Megan doesn't practice because she's just so good. And we paired together at Quebec Regionals, and she's a good partner to have. And she just throws together these pieces so fast that I blink and it's like half done, and you're like, what? So I don't need, it doesn't even bother me that she doesn't practice because she doesn't even, I feel like she just has this natural ability to build really fast. So as long as I can zone in on my full sort and
Yeah.
not lose that touch, and if I can get myself to build thousand piece puzzles in under 2 hours on my own quite frequently, then I feel like going with her even without practice is still going to mesh well together. And so I'm still looking really forward to that. But I probably will practice some solo ones on my own because any other time I've done thousand pieces, they've been for leisure, right? I need to try
Yeah.
doing them for speed instead. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I have a stack of thousand piece puzzles that are over the course of the next few weeks. It's getting back into trying to speed through 1,000. Because like just being at Worlds, it had been a while since I'd done like a pairs thousand piece, and I could feel that I was. I think a lot of us felt that we were going slower than we probably should have. But as you mentioned, like you're paired with Megan. She was at Worlds with someone that she had never practiced with before. They don't even live in the same country, and they finished very well, like top 50 something team in the world, a pair in the world, without practicing together. So still good. I don't want to spend too much time on the teams bit. You make it through to the finals with your team. Um, um, you don't finish the puzzle in the
no.
final with it, which it's not unexpected because of the difficulty of that puzzle passion puzzle. But you said this this can't possibly be a full sort puzzle.
No,
There is too much going on,
no,
and if you
there's
said we're
not.
trying to, okay, good. Because if you said yes, I don't know if I would fully believe you at this point. There
No,
is way too much. Maybe that
I
you could pull out sections, but not
yes.
you can't do a full sort.
No. So the team that I had was a mismatched team that I made up because like I
Yeah,
told you, I really just wanted to go on that second day to make it worth going the second day because last year we went and we were there for one puzzle.
yeah,
I didn't know anyone in the puzzle world yet, obviously, because I was brand new to speed puzzling when I went to nationals. And I reached out to The only person I knew, which was Megan, and she already had a team. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be teamless, and registration's coming up soon. And so I asked my mom and her friend from work to team up with me and my friend Shelly. And neither of them were speed puzzlers. So I didn't have any really, my only goal was to try to make it to finals to make it worth it. And we
Yep,
did. And I
you did.
had no expectations of actually making it to the finals. It was just like a minor goal I set for myself, and we did it. Now, I was impressed by that because, like I said, they had never done speed puzzling before either, and they actually didn't really puzzle casually or leisurely at all before either. I kind of just suckered my mom into doing it, right?
Yeah,
So it went better than I thought it would. But when we opened that bag for the finals, I was the only one excited. The rest of them were
yeah,
like, "Oh, this ain't happening." And they're like, "There's no way we can full sort this." And I said, "We're not going to." I said, "Just flip the pieces, take out the edges, pull out the girl's body, and if you see, there was quite a few pink color around there." I said, "So if you can put
yeah,
like as many things together that looks like the same color in a pile, go for it. Otherwise, just flip the pieces." And that's what we did. And we came close to finishing, but it just none of them were really excited about this puzzle except for me, so it didn't go that well.
yeah. I wasn't excited about the puzzle at all, and there was a lot of people that weren't. It's a very good artistic puzzle. It's just for speed puzzling. That was a challenge. You don't come in last though, so that's
Oh.
nice. Uh, which is fine. Skipping ahead then, because soon after that is Eastern Regionals,
Hmm.
which you attended, and I think this is where things are starting to turn for you. Like I said, you're now into your second year of speed puzzling, and this is where the jumps in ability and everything start to really kick in. Did you prepare differently for this event?
Well, I not really. Like I did my same kind of practicing on my own, but at the puzzle retreat that I went to, I met a few puzzlers. So at this point, I now was talking to Amanda a lot, and we decided to team up together and go. Which her pair would have been Riley at this point. To go there. And so we needed a fourth person for our team. And um, I know that you puzzle with Riley a lot. So I had asked if you were going, and they said no because of Worlds being so close. So I was like, I have no clue who I'm going to ask because my friend Shelly didn't want to go. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And Amanda suggested to just start at the top of the list and work my way down until someone says yes. So I'm like, okay, well, Megan's first on the list. So I've already spoken to Megan before because I met her at Nationals 2024. So I messaged her. You go into Quebec Regionals? I wasn't planning on it, but sure. I'm like, okay. And so I said to Amanda, Megan said yes, and I was like, I don't even know what to do with this info because she's so good, and I'm so excited, right? And so we planned like a weekend team sesh at like a Amanda's cottage to like practice, and so all of us got used to puzzling together that weekend, um, and that was pretty much like our practicing together, and
Yeah.
we went and it worked so well. And so I just practiced a lot on my own, but we did have a weekend like little getaway where we all practiced together and did different types of things like solo runs, pairs runs, team runs. So I don't know if that made a difference, but
Any practice is going to help with it. Really quickly through the individuals, because that's not as interesting as the other two events. You finish in 12th, which is good, especially for the Quebec regionals or Eastern regionals. It changes its name each year. Um, we don't get There's a lot of very good people in Quebec, that very good speed puzzlers that don't come to nationals. So being able to go into Quebec along with the very good people from Ontario, some come from out west, in addition to the people out east, I think 12th is a very good placing, especially with the Anatolian puzzles puzzle brand, which has its own challenges with it. But it's the pairs and teams that I want to focus on a bit more. First, with pairs, you are partnered with Megan, which is a huge partner to get. You're with the two-time back-to-back national champion. Um, you mentioned already kind of what it's like to puzzle with her, but was there a intimidation factor with it?
Hon- Honestly, I was really worried to let her down, but she assured me that that wasn't a possibility. She said, I'm
We'll
just
still win.
having
Don't worry.
I'm like, you're literally a two-time champ and you're puzzling with someone who's significantly slower than you, and I really want to get you a podium placement for pairs, and I'm worried I'm not fast enough to get you that, and I don't want to let you down. And yeah, she said that's not something I needed to worry about, and that she didn't care. And so that gave me the reassurance that I didn't have to stress about that and that I could just do my best and it would be fine.
Yeah,
And I showed her, I told her obviously, like, I like to do a full sort. I said, I don't know what you want to do, because I don't do edges first and this, that. And she said, well, let's try to make it work together. And we tried a couple things and we found a way that we think would work. I've never really worked with Anatolian before until then, until we went to the cottage, obviously, and we tried some. Because I usually, like Robbinsburgers, what brand I usually work with. So I had no practice with it. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And we got there. And we started, and like I said, like this girl is fast, man. I literally would like I'd build five pieces and look up and there's a whole chunk done and it's like how the heck are you doing this? But cool, I'll just keep handing her piles like yeah, doesn't really matter how much I put together if she's doing it too, right? Like I'm doing what I can.
yeah,
And I just kept feeding her pieces. I would build some stuff, then feed her more pieces. And then when we're down to the last like 20 pieces, she tells me, if we keep up like this, like we can do this. And I'm thinking, wait, like I can actually win something? Like this is fun. And then I get shaky hands. So now I know where the piece goes, but I can't place it. So now I'm literally passing a piece to Megan, being like, can you place this? Can you place this? And she's just plopping them in for me. She's like, you just keep telling me where they go and I'll place them. And then next thing you know, we're surrounded by people like waiting to mark our time. And I'm like, oh my God, we're actually going to win. And then we win. And I was so excited. It was so
yeah,
much
and
fun.
you win by over 4 minutes as well. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't close. It was that's a huge span between first and second place. Um, so yeah, it's your first ever Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association win, um, which in person or virtual. So that's an excellent result. You must be feeling pretty good then going into the teams competition that afternoon because the other two people at your on your team, along with Megan, as you've already mentioned, are Riley and Amanda, and they finished second place
Yeah.
in the pairs competition. So you have the top two pairs combined in on the same team. Is your team feeling pretty confident that you can win teams?
Well, so we have a very good, we have a very strong feeling we're going to get podium. But the next two finishers for pairs are also the net other team, right? So
Yeah.
we finish first, they finish second, and then the next third and fourth spots is the next team built together. And so, yeah, you get that little boost of confidence like, well, we took first and second in pairs, so we could take first in teams, but they also finished third and fourth. They could easily beat us also. When you put four people together, they could be a better team. We don't know, right? So we do have a boosted confidence that we should be able to get podium together if we just rock first and second place here, right? Um, but I believe that the four of them might puzzle together a little bit more often. I
Okay.
had no, I wasn't too sure if they did or not. But I don't know, they could connect really well as a team and come together and win. So it's not in the bag just because we finished first and second. It's still competition. And it was close. It was
30
like,
seconds, 30
yeah,
second difference
it
between
was
first and
very
second.
close. If you make any mistake, you're not getting first. Like that's the same as me getting my table at nationals. It's close. So I we worked really well as a team, though. I was really happy with it. I don't feel like anyone could have done anything differently. I feel like everyone did what they should do and it went well together. Um, I like puzzling with all three of them. They're all really good. And it's really fun puzzling with people who are faster than you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
fun. It does
it's
make you feel
yeah,
like you're not doing enough work, though. That's the only thing for me is that when you're puzzling with people faster than you feel like you didn't contribute enough. But it's like, I don't know, watching them go that quickly is like mind blowing to me. And it just like, I don't know. Winning did though make me want to be even more competitive than before because I think before I didn't really think I was going to be ever good enough to win. And then when I realized that if I'm with the right people, I can win, it was
yeah,
like, oh, how do you ever come back from that now? It's really fun.
yeah, and you're moving up in the like the rankings. Your time's getting faster. Like of the team of four, you would have been third fastest at nationals for that team. Passing Megan and Riley at nationals probably isn't an option this year. It's not an option for me. I know that. So, but yeah, you mentioned if you know you're going to be paired or teamed up with people that are definitely faster than you, consistently faster than you, it at least for me, it makes me want to try more, um, practice more, so the gap between us isn't
as
as
big.
big.
I'm
I'm
more
more
focused
focused
during
during
those
those
events
events
as
as
well
well
to
to
make
make
sure
sure
that
that
I'm
I'm
not
not that I'm contributing as much as I can to them, um, which is good, and I think that's the case for most people. But yeah, you have your team wins Eastern regionals, Quebec regionals. So you have two wins. You had a pretty good finish in the individual rounds, both then and at nationals. Um, we already talked about, yeah, you have goals, certain goals heading into nationals next year, whether it's individuals, teams, pairs, is going to be I don't think it's just making the finals no longer is a goal for you. There's
No.
actually set goals in all three of the categories. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting pretty good things with it, but there's also as you go into your second year and third, you'll be getting into your third year soon. Once you've done a few nationals and a few virtual competitions and you've had some success, for a lot of people, Worlds becomes a more of a realistic option if you're a competitive person.
Yeah.
If you're more competitive, you can go to Worlds whenever you feel like it doesn't make a difference. But if you're someone like me who wants to make the trip worthwhile, whether it's in Spain or wherever else it might be, is Worlds 2026 something that you are considering or definitely doing?
Yes, I'm definitely doing this year. I have my ex I'm at a place now where it's like going is on my list and so I am 100% going this time. I don't know where it's going to be yet, but I am 100% going. I've already started saving so that I can go. And I'm really excited about it. And I'm not going to be discouraged if I don't do well, because I can't if I'm in a round and it's a puzzle that 50 people have done a million times and I've never done it, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do better than them. Or I can end up in a round with a New York postcard and it'd be like, okay, cool, clearly I'm going to do well, right? So it's all up in the air. To be honest, if I made it to the qualifying rounds, and then made it to semis, I'd be content. If I didn't make it to finals, I'd probably hurt a little bit and I'd probably cry a little bit, but I'd get over it because I don't expect to do that good. I just feel like I'm good enough to go and feel accomplished. I'm also gonna have a wicked pairing again with my lovely Megan. So I feel very
Yeah.
confident for pairs. And my team, which has Megan and somebody, you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I just need to see. It's now filmed that says you're definitely going. So there's a record of it. But a lot of things change over the course of 11 months as well. But sign up is in New Year's Eve, so that's coming up really, really quick. And it's just that fourth person is the next goal
yes.
for it. But yeah, I have expectations for teams next year. Pairs, once that's all sorted, I'll have expectations for that. And yeah, I didn't make the finals at Worlds this year, and yeah, it hurts a little bit
Mhm.
in the moment, but then you realize these are the best people in the world,
Exactly.
and also your first Worlds. There's so much going on. There's more distractions because everything's new with it, and yeah, if you get the right puzzle on the right day, it can make a difference. Or if you get the wrong puzzle um, as well. So yeah, I think over the next 11 months, there's going to be a lot of big finishes for you, especially. Yeah, it was great going through all of this stuff with you. As you may know on this channel, I have a Speed Puzzling 101 section, which kind of gives advice and tips for people that are getting into speed puzzling or more experienced people that are looking for extra strategies that they might not have considered. And I ask all the guests on here if you have a piece of advice that you can provide to me to try in one of these upcoming videos, or a challenge you want to set for me to include in one of those videos. Is there anything that you might suggest?
My biggest suggestion would be to committing to the strategy you choose. So if you're going to choose to try my full sort with the micro sort with the million piles, commit to it because once you start, you're gonna waste 5 minutes, and then if you decide not to finish it, it was pointless. Right? Yeah, cool. You have a few piles, but they're not going to have all the pieces in it because the other half of the pieces are just going to be flipped and pushed to the side, so there was no point in doing it
Yeah,
essentially. So my biggest thing would be to just fully commit to the strategy, whether it's doing your full flip, pull edges, and maybe pull out a sky, whatever strategy you choose to use. It's just to fully commit to it. And then my second one would be to know when to stop working on a section because I struggle with that still. And I've watched other people try something and be like, nope, gotta move on. And I just can't seem to take my own advice and move on. So
yeah,
those would be my tips. But
awesome. And I think they're both things that others can benefit from for sure. So yeah, thank you for that. You've already mentioned your social media accounts. It'll be on the screen anyways while I'm talking on here, but if you just want to say it one more time, how people can reach out other puzzlers that might be interested. You might get questions specifically about your full sort approach. I wouldn't be surprised. How can people get in touch with you?
yeah, they can use my Instagram, which is CAITSPUZZLES_, and I would be happy to answer any questions that anyone has about my full sort.
Great, because I will be trying it again, so I will definitely have a few questions when I get frustrated and it just doesn't seem to be working. It also might not be for me, but I will keep trying it over and over again until hopefully something clicks. Because yeah, I can see the benefits of it. Yeah, so that's everything. I'm just going to finish off with the quick fire questions that I ask all the guests on here. I sent you the questions in advance, so we're going to go through this as quickly as possible to finish off this chat. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number one, what is your favorite brand of puzzle?
Ravensburger,
What is your favorite piece count?
1500.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Um, no one said that one. Your favorite cut style?
Ribbon cut.
Your favorite speed puzzle event?
Individual.
Yeah. Your favorite puzzler?
Oh, can I list like five?
if you want to.
it's like, okay, Devin is the first puzzler I ever heard of, so she's always going to be on my top list of favorite people because I feel like it's part of the reason I got into it. Two is Megan. Megan's the first puzzler I ever met in person, and also the first person I ever had a win with, so I'm always going to have her as my favorite. Victor is my favorite person to try to beat on my speed puzzling. Okay, I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop. Katie, she is like she is killing it in the puzzle world, and I think she's fantastic, and she's at the top of my list. And then I just have a bunch of, I have too many, but those are like the top right now, I would say. But there's like
Yeah.
Tess, Kirsty, you, Danielle, Allison. There's so many. I could go on forever, but Amanda, Riley, like there's so many, but those are the categories. That's what I would list right now.
Yeah. All good options in there. Your favorite puzzle that you've ever done.
Um, so New York postcard's my favorite because it's my first sub 30. But for favorite puzzle I haven't done yet is this one, the Disney Toy
Oh,
Story
yeah.
one. This is the one
Yeah.
that I had on my wish list for so long, and I finally have it, but I haven't built it yet. But I know it's gonna be my favorite. I love it so much.
That was a world's puzzle this year as well.
I love it.
Um, the hardest puzzle that you've ever done.
My 3,000 piece Where's Waldo
Oh
puzzle.
my God.
This was the hardest thing ever. Um,
3,000 pieces of wood. No.
and all the
Thank you.
colors are the same. Every color that's used in there is used for something else, whether it's a t-shirt, a hat, a boat, a this, and it was so hard. I loved it though. My friend Shelly got it for me. She's the best.
Yeah. You're not doing a full sort for that.
Well, I did sort through colors.
Okay, well that's not the same thing. That's
No,
different. Yeah. Your least favorite design to see on a puzzle. And you can only
building.
pick one. Building. So, okay, building.
Your
Your
favorite
favorite
puzzle
puzzle
moment
moment
that
that
you've
you've
had.
had.
Getting first for pairs because it was my first win. It was so fun, and I loved every moment of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that's a
good
good
first.
first.
That's a
That's a
good
good
moment.
moment.
Your
Your
favorite
favorite
way
way
to
to
get
get
new
new
puzzles.
puzzles.
Swapping puzzles with people so that I can empty my collection while rebuilding my collection at the same time. And often you get brand new puzzles in the swaps, so I love it.
Sometimes, yeah.
And
And
then
then
last
last
question.
question, your dream puzzle that you've not done but wish you could.
The like 40,320 piece memorable moments Disney puzzle,
Yeah,
which
that's a
is
popular one. It's a space issue for most people, but yes, it's as it was at Worlds this year. It was interesting to see it all put together. No, that is it. Thank you so much for all of that. I know there's going to be people that watch this, and your advice with the full sorting is going to help some people for sure uh, with it. And yeah, thank you so much, Caitlin, for being here.
thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.